and welcome to another episode of Night with R2. I'm your host, Art of the Icky, and gonna have a great show for you tonight. First time guest to this channel, so I'm really looking forward to it. I've been on some streams with him in the past on other folks' channels. Like I said, first time him being here, so without further ado, gonna bring him out, and that is Mr. Samiel the Infamous. How you doing, sir?
Hi, how you doing, R2? It's good to see you, man. It's good to
Yeah.
be here. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you too. As we were going live, I'm like, I'm forgetting something, and I'm like, oh yeah, my camera. uh, yeah, hey, I'm so glad to finally have you on the channel for in all these years. I think we've been an acquaintance and have known each other for kind of between 2 and 3 years. We streamed together on somebody else's channel a few times on a panel stream, but this is the first time you've been on my channel. I don't think I've been on your channel yet, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll have to work that out, man. It's you're right. We've been in each other's orbit for about 3 years.
Yeah,
Been
yeah,
on, so, long time coming, I think.
it is. And it's okay. It goes that way, right? We all have lives. We all have just stuff that it's never anything personal. It's just right. It just happens, So it's all good. But before we get into this, who are you and what do you do on the internet?
Well, my name's Samiel the Infamous, for those of you who don't know me. And I talk a lot of crap on the internet, is what I do. It's kind of my
So
whole
you're in
thing.
the 99% up there, is what you're saying.
Yes, I am. But I'm funny, so there's that. No, on my own channel, I run a couple of panel shows. One of them on Friday nights, Bissell Musings, with my partner Lawrence Knight, where we do like kind of some pop culture, some culture, but we also do like games and quizzes and that kind of thing. And then on Saturdays we run Screaming into the Void, which is a bit more of a topic panel where we talk about pretty much anything that comes to mind. Some of which is not safe for work.
Well, that's another common thing, right in the YouTube verse, but it's a lot of us do this. I mean, it's the fun of it, and it is kind of just to like
hmm
get things off our chest, right? Whether we're vocal about it or whether it's just to kill some time away from the real world.
Right. Well, I mean, I started the whole thing. I was invited onto a friend of mine's panel. This was over 4 years ago, and eventually she put me in charge of the back end of her channel and all that. And one day I
Mhm.
was up there with her. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go do something else now. You got this, right?" And she left. And this was on her old channel, which had 40,000 subs. So there were like a couple hundred people just watching me, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing? We got through that. I did it a few more times, and I discovered that I like it. I like
Yeah,
talking. I like talking into the camera and talking to people about anything and everything. So I decided to start doing it myself.
yeah. I was gonna say we're like Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Right.
I know what you mean by that too. I feel like there's kind of two ways, right? You get into it. Either just you really get into watching some of the panel streams and you interact with the folks, right? And you kind of
hmm
you're not really giving them grief, but you're kind of a little bit of like a peanut gallery. But they interact back with you, and it's a lot of fun. Or you are kind of something where like you just help out. You get on camera, and um, it becomes a lot of fun. It's also too. It's not for everybody, as well. But yeah, I get the feeling what you mean by all that.
hmm
And like I said, for me, this is my weekly escape. This is like going to the bar.
I know.
It is the equivalent of this for me, and just getting to hang out with my friends. It's really nice to be able to do that.
Indeed.
And and two, you mentioned Lawrence Knight. He's a good guy. I think I've known you both about the same time. I need to get him on the show. And kind of
Yeah, I think he'd be more than happy to.
same. Yeah. He's mentioned it a few times, and you were just it's one of those things though too, where like I'll be at a stream and I'll see somebody and it just strikes me, and I'm like, hey, you want to come be on? And it's the chance of it all. I was gonna ask you, have you because you have a very similar themed Abbott, not in terms of looks, 'cause they're both distinctive looks. But have you ever crossed paths with or Amarada?
Indeed. She and I are friends.
Oh,
Her and Sheep City and her are both good people. I've known them for quite a while too. And we like to joke about how we're two of only a handful of eldritch entities on the internet. You know, the others being like Omegon and Mauler.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, just both of you, because it not only right, it's the Cthulhu theme, but
Hmm.
you guys are both right. Your color is green. Yeah, I've always wondered that. I'm like, do they know each other? So that's hilarious that you guys do
Yeah.
it. Yeah, they are. They're sweet people. I love them both. Um, and I just always wondered that. But yeah, no, I'm so glad to have you here. This is going to be fun. Uh, we're going to get into our 10 rapid questions here in a minute, but before we do, we'll say hello. We've got a few people who've stopped in. My lovely wife, she's always watching. She's downstairs. And thank you for being here, sweetie. And
Howdy.
Mr. Jacob Ironside is here. Thank you, sir, for being here.
Yeah, hey, man.
Always appreciate you swinging by. And I'm sure some other people pop in along the way. But without further ado, we're going to get into it here and do our 10 rapid questions. So, if you're first watching this, I do a questionnaire with all my guests, ask them 10 questions, and there's no right or wrong. It's just kind of react as quickly as you can to it and just to kind of see what the opinion is. So, hey, you tell me when to go and we'll kick it off.
All right, let's do it.
Favorite color?
Green.
Who would have known? Favorite food?
Something that I've always called rice meatballs. My something my mom made when I was a kid. It's basically hamburger patties, but with like baked rice cooked into it, and
Mm.
then a sweet tomato paste over the top of that, coupled with like mashed potatoes and applesauce and that kind of thing.
That almost sounds like very simple, like meatloaf, but is that
Hmm.
like some sort of, uh, y- you know, some type of
It
food
was
from like a particular culture?
no, it was a recipe my grandma got off the back of a box
Wow. Okay.
in like the 50s.
Oh, okay. No, cool. I've never heard of this. I'm waiting for you to tell me. Like,
I'm
oh
sure there's a better name for it than
yeah.
that, but that's what I've always called it.
Okay. Man, I could make. Yeah, I'll have to get the recipe from you. Um, all
A
right.
lot of brown sugar.
Yeah, a lot of brown sugar. Okay. Favorite drink?
Uh, Scotch.
Scotch. Yeah, that's not bad. What's your favorite scotch?
Well, I don't know that I have a favorite because most of the good stuff is really expensive. But if
Mm.
I had to pick one that was available to me, probably Johnny Walker Black Label.
I do like that. That's I don't mean this in a bad way, but like that's a real like basic scotch.
Hmm.
Like it's very straightforward. It's just your average scotch taste. It's good. I used to on wedding anniversary because we got have good dinner. I'd always get a glass of Blue Label,
Yeah,
which
fair
is
enough.
which is terrific if you've ever had it. But my favorite these days is if you've ever had it. It is if you got a Costco near you. Costco sells it pretty cheap for what it is. Liquor stores it's a bit higher, but Lagavulin 16.
Yeah, yeah,
That is my favorite. Kind of like I guess you call that like a peatier type Scotch. I forget
absolutely.
the other type, but like what is it, McLennan or Mellon? Is
Yeah, McClellan. Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of like the opposite end of peaty. I'm not a big fan of that, but I know people that like that. But
Right. I'm pretty basic bitch though. I'm cheap and I get kind of the medium option just because and I don't drink that much anyway.
sure,
It's not a thing that I've been working on the same bottle of scotch for the last 4 years.
yeah, okay, yeah,
So
it's minimal, but well, hey, if I ever meet you in real life, I want to get something. I know to get you scotch.
absolutely.
First thing you'd buy at $1 million. And
Hmm.
this like treat yourself type thing, not like I would pay off my debt. That's too boring and basic.
So anything off the top of my head that may or may not be reasonable.
Yeah, you got $1 million to spend. You're splurging.
All right. Probably a hovercraft.
A hovercraft, okay. Like You mean like the big, huge, giant ones, or you
I'm thinking like the ones in James Bond that can actually go a little bit higher than 3 inches off the ground.
Okay, all right, like that style. Okay,
Yeah.
well, because like hovercrafts too are like right there, the inflatable. They skirt so they
Hmm.
can go in water and go out, but they're massive. So I kind of sure if you were like personal size like James Bond, or if you were like, no, I want the Humvee of a hovercraft.
Yeah, I mean, just the whole idea of a hovercraft. It's not quite flying, it's not quite driving, it's not quite on a boat. It's just but it's sort of all three of those things. They just look like a lot of fun,
Yeah,
man.
have you seen? They're essentially, they're like a full size drone, or what you'd really call like a quadcopter.
Hmm.
They don't require a pilot's license, but you do have to
Yeah,
do some training, and I think they're 40 grand. But those,
yeah.
you're like in a roll cage that you're running around. They're cool looking, but I'm like, my God, if you ate it, I don't want to feel that pain of the crash. All right, cool. Hovercraft. That's the first one for that. I love it. 1990s LA or 1990s New York City?
80s New York City,
Okay.
hands down.
This is
90s LA was on fire,
I
literally.
yeah. Well, that's very true. I This is a flip flop for my week because I asked 80s LA or 90s New York. So 80s on both round. I like that. Um, Marvel Comics New York City or DC Comics Metropolis?
Ooh, Metropolis was probably the way to go, just because it was like it had its problems, it had supervillains and its dangers and whatnot, but it wasn't essentially the same crime-ridden hellhole that our New York City is, but with superheroes. So I'll go with Metropolis.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Rick Moranis or Martin Short?
That's not a fair question.
Well,
Uh,
it's not supposed to be fair. It's not personal. They're not going to come show up at your door and get mad at you. So
I enjoy both of them, but I think honestly, probably Martin Short. Martin Short just could do anything he wanted to.
it's very true. To me, they're both very. I'm shocked these guys never did a movie together. Like they always seem
Yeah.
like they would have been a really like that would have been a great like 80s 90s movie. But to me, like very just similar in like real life. Like they're both really really good guys. I mean, Rick Moranis' wife passed away sadly, and he took a back seat from acting to raise his kids, and not quite the same for Martin Short, but his wife passed away in his career. He took a break, for a while from that just to be with family before his kids were a bit older at that time, but still, like just um, instead of just go go go, they took time away from it, which,
Hmm.
like I said, they just always felt very similar. But no problem. Marissa Tomei or Sandra Bullock?
Probably Marissa Tomei. I just think she's prettier.
No problem. No problem. I was looking up Sandra Bullock. I'm like, I've never seen this one. I got to use it. I don't have the other end of that photo, by the way, so don't ask.
I wasn't gonna.
The Batleth or Phaser from Star Trek?
As much as I like the Batleth, the phaser doesn't require me to like learn a whole lot about it. It's basically point and shoot, so we'll go with the phaser.
No problem. That was the other tough thing. It's like there's so many variations, but I like the. I guess right,
Hmm.
that's the original series one.
Yeah.
I don't like the next generation, the remote control one. I'm like, I don't get how you could aim
Oh, the
well.
Mark II. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like a pocket vacuum cleaner, like a micro
It kind of
suster.
does. It does look like a little bitty dustbuster.
Yeah. But all right. And then last, so this is keep, change, delete their career. So you keep one the way it was, you change for the better the next person, then the other guy you delete it all the way. And as you can see, I was going back because I know you're a fan of
Yeah.
some of it at least.
This is basically Mary F. Kill, isn't it?
It is. It is.
I would probably keep Leonard Nimoy. The guy's a legend.
Yeah.
Maybe change Zachary Quinto because he's like I think he's good, and I've liked most of the stuff he's in, but he's not on the same level as Nimoy is. But he's he's pretty good. The other guy, I have no idea who that is. so we can
Uh,
delete him.
well, Ethan Peck. It's Gregory Peck's grandson.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's who he is. But right, I can't think of the new track, but he's popped up as
Yeah,
Spock
I
on it.
don't watch any of the new tracks, so I have no idea who this guy
Well, and
is.
I wasn't sure if you'd seen any of it, or kind of what you thought of, like at least like how he portrayed it. I know that show is not nearly as popular, and that's an understatement with fans. But yeah, no, I mean, I knew you were going to pick Leonard Nimoy to keep.
Guy's a legend, man.
I do like Zachary Quino too. He just though. The one thing I like about him being Spock is he seemed more like angry Spock.
Yeah, I don't blame that necessarily on him as I
Yeah,
do on J.J. Abrams, though. I mean, that seemed like a
yeah,
directorial choice.
sure, and that's fair enough. I'm just saying the one thing I didn't like about him being Spock is he just always seemed like he was angry, irritated Spock,
Hmm.
which you know,
My mother had a hard time with him because the last thing she saw him in was Heroes, where he was, Siler
yeah,
eating people's brains. So,
yeah. There's that. There's two. But yeah, Leonard. I mean, he is quintessential for Vulcan in the sense of just the calm demeanor.
well, he was also instrumental in actually formulating Vulcan lore.
Yeah, well, right, because right there, I don't know if this is well, but right, he's doing the live long and prosper
Hmm.
gesture, right?
Yeah,
That's
which I
actually
believe he came up with. Yeah.
it's actually it's from Jewish religion.
Hmm.
I forget what it means, but yeah, no, you're right. I've read a lot of that. He did a lot of the Vulcan culture of the show and came up with it, which is cool. Uh, he always seems so tall in the show too. And I was looking these guys up. He's the shortest one of the bunch. I thought Zachary Quinto was the shortest guy. He looked the shortest in those movies.
Well, I mean, he looks tall because he's always standing to Bill Shatner, and Bill is, as you know, not a very tall man.
That's true too. But I'm just saying, like, I always thought Leonard Nimoy was a lot taller. And I'm like, oh, I mean, he's still a tall guy. He's 5'11". Just
Mhm.
he looked like he was like 6'2", 6'3". So well, cool. I again kind of figured it would go the way that it went on your choice here, but wanted to do something Star Trek. Yeah, well, with that, I love the choices for this. This was a lot of fun, and we'll get into the main of the show, and that is your favorite movies.
All right.
And I can't wait to hear you talk about the first one. I was really excited about it.
Excuse me. Yes. Yes. Greatest movie ever made. Greatest movie ever made.
The original summer blockbuster.
No. I do get some crap about this from some of my friends who don't necessarily think that because it was a Spielberg movie and because it was the first blockbuster and all that, they're like, well, that doesn't make it the greatest movie. I was like, you obviously didn't watch it then, though. See, because it is the greatest movie ever made. It's got adventure, it's got terror, it's got camaraderie, it's three men on a fishing trip, man.
Yeah,
You know?
I this is a movie I grew up watching. This movie terrified me as a child. It still terrifies me to this day. In fact, I've shared this story on this channel before, but I'll share it again here. I don't mind. I saw this as a kid. I was terrified to go to the bathroom on the toilet because I thought a shark was to swim up the toilet and bite my butt off.
My mom had the same fear.
It's scary, but right? The shark. I mean, nowadays, especially too, right? Like watch it in 4K. I mean, it's very mechanical looking, but for the era, it's still a phenomenal practical effect.
I think that it holds up pretty well, particularly because they only used
Yeah,
the prop shark when they absolutely had to, when they couldn't get around not showing it or not showing it fully, and I think they did it very. There's a lot of suggestion, which like they did in 1979's Alien as well. Like you don't even
yeah,
see the monster fully until like the last 10 minutes of the movie, and it's an art that I think is lost in modern media, particularly in horror,
yeah,
is that they want to show you everything right away, and I think that less is more in that genre, and
yeah,
in Jaws it worked out really well. Like You kind of get a glimpse of the shark at one point, I think, early in the second act, but you don't really see it, and a lot of the footage is through the shark's POV.
Yeah.
So you get an idea of what's going on, but you don't really see the beast itself until later. And they do a really, really good job with that. So when it does first make its presence known, when it pops out of the water as Brody's like chumming, on the back of the
Yeah.
orca, like it doesn't matter that that's a mechanical head. It's terrifying.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Well, the first kind of real glimpse you get of Bruce, I mean, because that's what they called the shark lake in it.
Mhm.
It's in the pond, and he knocks the guy out of the little tiny rowboat, and you just see that side profile from under the water,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
it's what do they call it, submechanophobia. Like, it's terrifying seeing that shot. Like, I to this day, I'm like, I don't even like going like
Oh
swimming
yeah.
in a landlocked lake because of Jaws.
They they only showed just enough to
Yeah,
give you an impression of its size.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say the one thing the only thing that stands out to where I'm like, it does make it look mechanical. It's the jowls that they built on it, but
Mhm.
again, I know that that's just more of, I think it was
I
technology at
think
the
that
time.
the jowls were there to cover up the hinges.
I mean, essentially, yeah, they had to be there. But I'm just saying, like, that's like the only negative aspect about it, because the shark though is just so
Indeed, indeed.
phenomenal and terrifying. And two, like you said, right, the whole POV, where I mean, we watch the movie from the point of view of the shark, and we've seen that, right, like you said, like with Alien, we've seen it with even too, like I want to say, right, like Michael Myers, Friday the
Mhm.
13th have done that. That the POV of the monster, where you can't sit, you're seeing what the monster's seeing, is a great way to build suspense. And yes, I would love to buy that, but it's just Legos
Yeah,
are so ridiculously expensive. And
I have seen that myself. Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, no, this movie was my first great love, and it still is. This is my favorite movie of all time. It has been. See, when I was a child, I had the opposite reaction you did. I saw this for the first time when I was 3 years old. My parents thought it would scare me, and it probably should have, but it's been
yeah,
my favorite movie since the first time I ever laid eyes on it. They thought my sister would react similarly to me. No, no, she lives in a landlocked state as far away from the ocean as possible. She's been terrified of sharks ever since.
yeah, yeah. Well, for me, it's I don't like dark, cloudy water. Right, like all the water
Mhm.
in this film is like that. Like 15 years ago, my family went to Hawaii on a trip, and I mean, like, that water is crystal clear. I'm like, well, I can see a shark that's coming. I'm fine. This water feels
Yeah,
phenomenal. So I was, a lot more brave. But I'm like, if that water was, I would have been like, no.
yeah.
Oh,
No, I kind of get that. Like thalassophobia is a real thing,
yeah,
for a lot of people. And there's a part of it. It's part of my whole Lovecraft theme. The guy was terrified of everything in the ocean. He was terrified of the sea itself, the depths of it, what was unknown underneath it, and a lot of that kind of plays into Jaws. And I like that about it. I like the
yeah.
the synergy of that.
But I'll say at the same time too, for me, like, I became fascinated with sharks because of this.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
Um,
it didn't look at him with a view of being like, mind players, like realizing, right, that's a lot of that's for the movie. But I guess, I don't know if you've ever seen a real great white shark in real life.
Not in person, no.
I lived in California at the time, and actually twice I got to see one of the whites at Monterey Bay Aquarium.
Mm,
And they weren't big ones; they were small. I mean, they were like 7 feet long. So I mean, for one of those, that's not huge. It's still a juvenile, but it was so cool to see that,
oh yeah.
and swim around.
No, but no, this film in particular. When I was younger, I was very much into. I mean, I'm still fascinated by this stuff. I just don't dedicate as much time to
Mhm.
looking at this stuff. But I used to watch Wild America with Marty Stauffer on PBS religiously because of this movie. Because it was like, oh well, what else is out there? I got to know. And this guy seems to know his thing, so I'm gonna watch that. I also started reading Dr. Eugenie Clark's books. And for those who don't know, she was a ichthyologist who specialized in sharks. She's one of the reasons that we know as much about sharks as we do today.
Oh wow!
So she's sort of like Diane Fossey, but for sharks,
Okay,
and
yeah,
also didn't get killed by poachers.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say that name when you said it. I'm like, the name sounds familiar, but I'm like, I'll let you explain who it is. But
Mhm.
okay, yeah, yeah, I've heard her name before. We were talking about too at the ages that we did. I this past summer, I'd taken some time to spend with my son while he was still on summer vacation, and I was like, "Hey, we're gonna watch 5 movies we've never watched before." And so I kind of gave him choices, and he had picked one, and he loved it. But it was
Mhm.
so much fun watching this and his experience to it. And the best reaction in the whole movie though was when Alex Kittner gets attacked and eaten, and you see
Oh
the
yeah.
stream of blood shoot in the air, and we're in bed watching it, and that happens, and he shot up, and he just went, "Whoa!" It was,
Yeah, that's always it's either that one or the one where Hooper finds the head underwater.
yeah, yeah,
That one usually gets people. That one got my oldest when I first because I was able to share this movie with my children too.
yeah.
Well, one of them, the other one was way too young at the time. But the and what was cool was the local theater where we were at started doing this thing called Throwback Thursdays where they'd show old movies and stuff. So I actually got to take my
Oh,
oldest daughter to see Jaws in the theater, which was very cool.
that's awesome. Yeah, yeah, getting to see stuff like that in the theater, you can't beat it.
Hmm.
You cannot beat it at all. Um, and real quick here, yeah, I have seen the series River Monster. I don't know if I've
Mm.
seen them all, but Jeremy Wade, I think, is who you're talking about. It's a good show. There's some terrifying crap that he pulls out of the water on that show. Um, but yeah, when you picked this, I was so excited. I'm like, I can't wait to hear what he has to say about it, because it is. This
Ah,
is
I love it, man. I love everything about it. I love Quint's whole Ahab arc. I
yeah,
love who the only because I also read the book when I was young by Peter Benchley. Because I saw the movie, I loved it, and I was like, "Wait, there's a book,"
yeah.
So I went and I read that. I also read Jaws 2 novelization, which is actually better than the movie is.
That's not surprising.
But the in the first one, and there are some key differences in the book from the movie. But the most notable one, the one that really stands out to me, is the fact that Hooper has an affair with Brody's wife.
Yeah,
Right? They left all of that out of the movie. Like
yeah.
even a hint of it wasn't there.
Well,
Which is probably for the best. I think it worked out.
yeah. Well, so I have not read the book, but I've heard so many people talk enough about the differences and of it. I kind of like, well, at this point, I'm like, I don't think I'm missing out. I know, yeah, everybody's not written as good as they are in the movie. Like everybody's very unlikable. I want to say like Rhodey almost has, like, if I'm not mistaken, it's kind of spineless, and
Hmm.
yeah,
And Quint's insane.
Quint's insane, and yeah, Hooper and Mrs. Brody have an affair, and then the mayor is like tied in with the mob.
Yeah, which they do include in the second film, but
Yeah,
none of the sequels held up to the original
yeah,
one.
they're enjoyable to watch, but you're never like,
Oh yeah,
Jaws 2's on, I gotta watch this. But it is fun to watch them, to go back and watch
man.
them.
I watch Velocipaster for fun, man. So that I'm good with the other movies. I'm just saying they're not on the same level as the first
No, no,
one.
no, no. I hear you, but I'm just saying, like, they're a lot more campier, um, and
Hmm.
well, even to like the fourth one, it's one of those, like, it's
Oh,
so bad it's good at the same time.
it is so bad. Like just not to spoil anything for anybody, but the climax where she rams a broken prow of a ship into the shark and it happens to hit a hand grenade in its belly.
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, and it's roaring, too. It's like
Yeah.
porpoising out of the water.
Yeah.
It can, well, in the second one, and in that one too, you can certainly see the mechanical aspect of it. In the second one, there's a scene where he goes right by a boat, and the jaw is like real, like, narrow as it opens up its mouth, and you can see the mechanics inside of it. And then in Jaws: The Revenge, a few of the underwater scenes, you can actually see the shark on its track. And two, it's always
Hmm.
like coming along that way, like going side
Yeah.
to side. At Universal in Florida, I mean, this is back in the day. This is in like the early to mid '90s. They had a couple of the sharks from Jaws: Revenge out on display. Those were really cool to see them. I mean, they looked neat. I mean, even though they're from hokey movies, but yeah,
Yeah,
no,
indeed.
no, good picking. I'm shocked it take this long to have somebody pick this. I always kind of wondered. 'Cause I
I'm
feel
surprised
like
nobody got to it before I did because it is, as I said, the greatest movie ever made. So,
it's. I kind of feel like with the generation coming along, this is starting to become an underrated film. It's just most people
hmm.
haven't seen it, or I guess just don't understand it. Like it's such an odd thing, but I love it. I think phenomenal pick. That and when I found this picture, I was like, "This is such a neat poster." I'm like, I don't. It looks like it's a fan one, but it might look like an actual, like legit, like horsehide poster. I don't know what you would call that, but
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I want this in my office." Um, but all right, we'll move on to your next choice, and that is, I'm assuming I picked the right movie here.
You did.
Okay,
You did.
because sometimes I'm like, I hope there's not another movie with a different name. I had that happen. Somebody was like, "Hey, R2, I'm picking Empire," and so I'm like Empire. So I looked it up. It was some movie with John Leguizamo. I'm like this, and he's like, "No, Empire Strikes Back." Like, that's what I thought, but like I didn't want to be insulting.
No, there is another movie called See No Evil with Kane from the wrestling stuff.
Oh, okay,
It's a slasher flick, but it's just See No Evil. There's no Hear No Evil part of it.
yeah.
So this is a movie I've seen probably 1,000 times. It's one of a pair of comedies that these two did that I watch over and over again. One of the problems with doing a whole like what's your top three is that I don't have three. I have a lot because I watch a lot of stuff and I like a lot of stuff. But of the two that I watch consistently with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, I went with this one because it's just so hysterically funny. For those who don't know, essentially Gene Wilder is playing a deaf man and Richard Pryor is playing a blind man, and they get accused of a murder they didn't commit and have to go through an adventure trying to clear their names and not get killed by the people who actually did the murder.
Yeah. It's. I remember I've seen this a few times. I saw it too when I was fairly young. I probably shouldn't have seen it when I did. Um, and I haven't watched it in a while. And seeing this, I was like, I kind of like, oh, I really want to rewatch it because I'm like, you have one of the most crass comedians paired up with Willy Wonka.
Right. Who himself could be quite crass when he wanted to.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But still, it's just it's tough as a kid not to look at Gene Wilder and just always think Willy Wonka.
Yep. Well, these two did four movies together total over their careers, separated by decades. The first one was Silver Streak, which is one of the others. It's my absolute favorite. Came out in 1974. This one came out in 1986, I think. Not too long before. And both this one and the other were both directed by Arthur Hiller,
Okay.
which is probably why I love them both so much because they're very similar in direction and style and all of that. But they're separated by a little over a decade. Then they also did Sidney Poitier's Stir Crazy, and they did this other weird little movie called Another You together, where Gene Wilder plays like a pathological liar, and Richard Pryor plays the con man pretending to be the guy who's trying to help him reintegrate into society.
I haven't seen that one, but I always remember seeing over at the video store, like going to Blockbuster, and like I'd always see it. But this movie too has a very young Kevin Spacey. I mean, it's one of his
It
first
does, yeah.
careers, right? He plays like a henchman in it, and I can't think of her name, but he has kind of it's like a henchwoman essentially that who's very attractive that kind of plays a big part in this film. Um, who constantly seems to be like slightly seducing Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor, if I remember as a kid. But
Yeah,
I can't think
that
of her.
was Joan Severance.
Joe Severance. Yeah, I was gonna say I can't think of her name, but the other thing that I always remember her from, and it's such a quick moment, and I'll see if you recall this, but she pops up Lethal Weapon when they go to. It's like the first time they're getting together. They go to a drug house, and like she's inside this like pool house, like scooping up cocaine to a bag, and she's only in it for like 10 seconds.
I think she only did a handful of movies and maybe a couple of TV appearances. I'm reasonably certain that her career at the time was more as a model than it was anything
Yeah,
else.
she was very typecast in the types of roles that she played.
Mm-hmm.
They were always
Well, there's a whole plot point about how she has the greatest legs and smells really good in this movie, and
yeah.
that's how they find out who she is.
That's right too. Yeah, you're right. I do remember that. Great legs and the smell. I can smell her.
I smelled a woman,
Yeah,
but I didn't see a woman.
yeah, that's right. But
Shalimar.
now I don't think there's anything wrong with this pick. But yeah, this one like when I see what people pick, like this one, I'm like, oh, this is so opposite. I feel like I was not expecting this, and this is another one where I go like it's very underrated. So it was cool to see you pick this.
I think it is. I think it's got several moments in it that make me laugh out loud in a dark room by myself. You know how rare that is?
Sure.
You know, like there's a bit on early on in the movie where Richard Pryor is on the subway with his sister, and they're riding along, and he's holding up a newspaper, but he's holding it up upside down because he's blind.
Yeah.
Right. And she's like, "Why do you have to feel like you have to pass?" And he's like, "I don't feel like I have to pass." And she's like, "Yeah, you do. It's like you're trying to pass for white. It's a sickness in your brain." So he stands up in this train car and starts shouting at the top of his lungs, "You mean I'm not white?" A lot of adjustments are going to have to be made. Does Dad know?
I know. I remember the scene now. That, and I remember too. There's a moment where he looks in his stick, right? I don't know necessarily what you call it, but right, it's the white stick with the red tip.
Mm-hmm.
They can just make sure that they're not running into things as they walk along. And he got
Mm-hmm.
clearly it's something that was like new technology for the time, but it was almost like sonar,
Sort of, yeah,
like
yeah,
like
yeah.
remote, like where he points and you could hear the beeping, as it bounces off. And yeah, he doesn't want to be using his stick. He wants to use that, and then he has like he bumps into another blind man that they clearly don't want to admit that they're blind, and it's the blind leading the blind, right?
Well, one of the guy he bumps into has his stick out, and he's very blind. But his sister Richard Pryor's sister just yelled at him like, "Wait for the beeps," to cross the
Oh yeah,
road. And he goes, and so he's just shouting back at her, "Yeah, wait for the beeps." And the dude standing next to him is this blind guy. He's like, "Oh, I will, thank you. Hey, would you help me across the street?" He's like, Sure."
yeah, yeah. And she's watching him too, like she's like
Yeah,
giggling too the whole time. Right?
they end up in the back of a cube van. It's really funny.
Yeah, that's good. I have not seen this probably since my early 20s, late teens was the last time I watched it. So yeah, I mean
Mhm.
I'm trying to recall this all from quite a while. But yeah, I do. I want to watch it again now.
Yeah. The other standout moment, and this I got to get up my chest because I think it's just too funny. They're in a stolen police car, trying to get away from the police and the bad guys. Richard Pryor is behind the wheel. Gene Wilder's in the passenger seat. They both have handcuffs on, and they're driving into stuff, because Pryor can't see, and Wilder goes, "Watch the road," and Richard Pryor just looks over towards him, and he goes, "If it makes you feel any better."
He and that's that's like that expression you see in this picture. Like he keeps his eyes, and he does. He's like got his mouth clenched the whole time in this movie, and I don't know if the mouth being clenched was anything related to stuff that occurred to him in the past, or if that was part of his character for that, like how he designed the appearance and how he wanted to portray him. But he keeps
Yeah,
those. those
I
eye
think it
locks.
had something to do with the character. Yeah, it was that and the fact that like Wilder's character reads lips, and I think he was trying to exaggerate that a little bit for him.
Okay. Yeah, I always kind of wondered on that if like the big grin that he's always just it's like smiling but he's clenching at the same time.
Yeah, well, that's it. I think it's like I said, part of his character. His character is a very angry character.
Yeah.
He's very angry that he's blind. He's very angry that the world is unfair. People keep treating him different because he's blind, and so he's clenching his teeth the entire time, even when he's smiling, because he's actually really pissed off at the world, at
Okay.
himself, at everything. So,
That
he's faking it till he makes it, and
yeah.
that's kind of a big point for him, plot point for his character in that.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense now. Like I said, I haven't seen this in a while, so I can't remember necessarily that being a thing or picking up on that last time I watched it, but yeah, how he locks his eyes on everything like is impressive. So
You
no,
know, which
great.
I also think is funny because like he's got his eyes as wide as he possibly
I
can
know,
have like
like
the entire time, and I've always taken that to be like, you know, because he doesn't want people to treat him like he's blind, he's gonna stare as hard as he can. He's like, look at these eyeballs.
yeah. Well, I gotta imagine. I'm like, how much Visine did he use between takes? Uh, no,
Great
good.
movie.
Yeah, good pick. Love it. Well, let's go to your next one, and that is Unbreakable.
Indeed. This one blew me away the first time I saw it. You know, and I this was you got to keep in mind, this was pretty early on in M Night Shyamalan's like professional career.
Yeah.
You know, he'd had one major hit at this point, and that was The Sixth Sense, right? And so this came out, and nobody knew anything about this director. I wasn't even paying attention to directors at the time. I just heard that, hey, this movie came out, you should see it. And then I heard from my mother, you definitely shouldn't see this movie. You know, because even my 20s, she was like, you know, maybe don't put certain ideas in your head, you know. And I found out later the reason she didn't want me to see it was because she found the whole thing, despite being well made, terribly upsetting.
It,
And I can kind of see that. I wasn't a parent then, I am now. I kind of get it now. But at the time when I finally sat down and watched it, I was just like, I don't know why she told me not to watch this. This movie's incredible. You know, it's the most subdued, understated thing ever, and it's about the most epic of tales. You know, it's like
yeah.
saying, you know, what if Superman's story was really chill and kind of dark? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. It well at this point too, I mean, right, there's a big twist ending at M. Night Shyamalan's first movie, Sixth Sense. Everybody knows it, but I'm not gonna say what it is, just in case you haven't seen it. But you know, like this one, I think too, like people weren't necessarily expecting him to kind of that to end up being right. That was a bit of his MO to always have kind of his movies would always have a big twist at the end. Um, but it's very much right a movie about like yin and yang, the opposites at one end of the spectrum and the other.
Mhm.
If one person can be this way, there's clearly somebody that's going to be the opposite of all those other aspects of it.
Right.
And it sets that up big time in the movie. You kind of hear it through the film, and then it really, when that moment happens, you're like, oh my God, you're like, that was all that talk. That's what it was all leading towards. And both, yeah, really good performances by Bruce Willis and Samuel Jackson.
I think it's on both actors' accounts, but especially on Sam Jackson's.
Yeah.
I think it's one of his finest ever.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is too because for the whole film, and I don't want to say too much, but like you have like you just feel for this guy the whole time.
Mhm.
You have so much sympathy for him, and even he is a bit unlucky during the film.
Well, it's really kind of his movie, isn't it?
Yeah,
When you're watching it, because you're watching Bruce Willis's story in the present unfold in the present, and there are a few flashbacks to his character's past, but it's just to kind of give context to things that are in the present that weren't necessarily obvious, but they really don't focus so much on Bruce Willis's character's past, David Dunn. They do focus on Sam Jackson's character extensively. The movie opens with his character. It you know
yeah,
just it's very hyper focused on it, and it's hyper focused on his point of view, and trying to, even though everybody thinks he's crazy, trying to make you see through his eyes. You're just like, no, he's not crazy. He's seeing something here, even if nobody else wants to admit it. And it really is Sam Jackson's movie in that sense, because Willis's character arc is incredible. It really is, but it's he's the he's like the spectacle. Sam Jackson is the spectator.
yeah, yeah. No, that's a really good point. You're right that even though, right, like you look at this picture and with Bruce Willis being on top, you kind of go, "Oh, Bruce Willis is the star." Yeah, it really is Samuel Jackson's story throughout the film.
Hmm.
And it is, for me, I do kind of want to talk about the things that happen, but like it's one of those things. It's like I don't want to spoil it necessarily for anybody
I
who haven't
mean,
heard it. Other than, I guess, if you're watching it now, we'll just say we're going to talk about some spoilers. So if you don't want to have it spoiled, fast.
yeah. The movie's been out for like 20 some odd years, man. 25 years.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a quarter of a century old. And
Don't
the
say
fact
that.
is,
Oh God.
yeah. And the fact is there are two sequels, one of which is indirect, that have come out since then.
Yeah,
So, um, but this one in particular, this was just, and I love both of them except for the ending of the third one. I really hate that. But
I was just about to ask you, what did you think of? Because I didn't see it, but I heard about it. I was like, really? I'm like,
I went to see it in the theaters. So essentially, what happened was, like, I saw this on VHS. I didn't go to the movies a lot at that age, and so I saw this on VHS. Was blown away by it. Went out, got a copy of it, watched it 100 times. And years later, I decide I'm going to go out to see a movie. Wife and kids are at home and all that stuff. And what's in the theaters locally is this movie called Split. I was like, I don't know what this is about. I'm going to go check this out. So I go in to see this movie. It's engrossing as hell. It's just this really nasty, dark little character study about a guy with multiple personalities and the awful stuff that some of them are up to. And not to give too much away, but twist ending. David Dunn is connected to it by the end of the movie.
yeah,
David Dunn from Unbreakable. And it is an indirect sequel. It's just not about his character. It's
yeah,
in the same world, kind of thing. And I had no idea this was a Shyamalan movie when I went to see it. I was just like, okay, well, this Split sounds interesting. I'll go check it out. The second that the reveal of the twist happens, I'm just like, holy shit. Just like,
yeah.
why did I not see this coming? you know. And then so I was waiting with bated breath for Glass, which is the third one, and I went to see that in theaters. And there's a lot that I really like about Glass. The ending is not one of those things.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
It almost seems like it was just all to subvert everything.
Yeah, it unfortunately, yeah, that's exactly what it was. I think it was just to, because what a twist. But in this case, it came out in an era when we were witnessing Hollywood try to tear down all that had come before,
Yeah,
and I think that it was a part of that, and I'm not happy about that.
yeah, yeah. No, I get what you're saying, and
Yeah.
there's a lot
But
of films
this
that could have been
one,
so much better if it
yeah,
weren't released in during that time frame. But yeah, well then,
but this movie though, this movie is completely the opposite. It's very much about the beginning of the myth over the man. Like, the scene that stands out in my mind is the next day after, and spoilers, big spoilers. Bruce Willis saves a couple of kids from a very bad man. He unfortunately doesn't get there in time to save their parents, but he does save the kids from the very bad man. The next day, he's sitting at the breakfast table while his wife is like at the kitchen sink or whatever with his son. And he points to the news article about Mystery Savior and catches his son's eye and directs him towards it. And his son gets this look on his face like, oh my God, you are a superhero. And Bruce Willis just looks at him and he just nods very slowly. And then it puts his finger to his lips. It's like, don't tell your mom and all that. And that moment right there, I think encapsulates everything about his character and his relationship with his son. And it's a
Yeah.
beautiful moment.
Yeah. Well, the whole it's kind of a really good scene. There's a moment there out in the garage, and he's gonna do some weights, and he realizes there's like too much weight, and he's able to lift it, and he tells his son to take it off, and then his son does, and he adds more weight, and he does it, and then they start, like it's great because they start like, what else can we add on to this?
Right. Right. And I think it also kind of stands out, especially lately, in that Bruce Willis's character David is he's going through a trial separation with his wife. There is a lot of unspoken tension between the two of them, but he never once lets that get in the way of his relationship with his son.
Yeah.
Not once. He's a good dad, and he even still is taking care of his wife as best as he can, and being part of the household. He's just sort of stepped back from the marriage, which I think is shitty. But they do kind of resolve that towards the end.
Yeah.
But he's not. He's just because he's going through something with his wife doesn't mean that he starts being a shitty father. They do a really good job of portraying him as a good dad, and I love that about it.
Yeah. I will say though, the scene where he realizes, like, because he kind of like can always pick up like when something's off about somebody, and you kind of realize like it's a sixth sense of his. But like at the same time, I'm like, I kind of hate it. I'm like, there's a lot of crappy people in the world.
Well, there's a lot of like decent people who've done crappy things too.
Yeah. But just like how many people, like, like it's like every single person he touches, it's like the worst thing. It's like, I'm like, that's almost a.
That's a horrifying ability.
I'd be like so depressed. Yeah, with that. But not only that, I think the other kind of sad thing about this movie though is right. He's playing a character. He's unbreakable, and then it's sad to know what's happened to his health. Bruce Willis, right?
Yeah.
And it is. It's one of those things, right? Like it's a little bit. He's slightly based off Superman. For somebody like that, right, to play such a strong character, and then unfortunately in real life not be that character.
Indeed. It's a damn shame. I wish, honestly, they'd just let him retire. And
Yeah. I get that too. Well, and especially too, right? Like when you see something end the way that it ends, and it's like there's no going back to fix it, right? At some point. But yeah, no, this is another good movie. I it's definitely my second favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie. The one that I really like is Signs.
oh, everybody says that.
It was just like because I saw that in theaters with a group of friends, and like we talked and talked, and to me, I think it's just there's a lot of moments in there too. Like we're not gonna get into it, but yeah, I really like that a lot. But I do like
Yeah.
this is definitely of the two. I think this is best. I think this is the best.
We can agree to disagree on that. I actually am one of the few people who hated Signs.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's fine. You can certainly. I got no ill feeling. I'm like, you don't like a movie, you don't like a movie. Ghost. Because I was not a big like it was okay, but like I don't know. I just I'm necessarily into like supernatural films. I guess is I think my big flaw there. And what was the one that came after Sign that M. Night Shyamalan?
The Village.
The Village, that's the name of it. I've seen the previews for that being so hyped, and then I think I remember seeing it, and I don't know. It was like at this point, I'm like, the twists are not. I'm like, it was crazy, but it was like I'm not as shocked. I don't know. I wanted them to do something different, right? And then he did Lady in Water. That was like another interesting.
That one had Paul Giamatti in it. Yeah.
I just remember the
Bryce Dallas
guy
Howard.
worked out one side of his body. Hilarious that looked. But yeah, that's right. They did Paul Giamatti in it. But cool. No, take it. Great choice, and it is. It's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. If you love comic books, I mean, that's kind of the other fun thing about it is it's a comic book movie.
Yeah, it really is.
It is. I love to. Well, not only this comic book movie, but Samuel Jackson is a dealer of, like essentially like the original prints of comic books. So like when they make a comic book, when it's drawn on this giant panel, and then it goes to the print, and it gets it's shrunken down when it's printed, but essentially it's stuff like that. It's all the original versions of it. And there's a guy who's like he wants to buy it for his kid, and his kid's like 5 years old. He's
like, get out of my store.
He's like, get the hell out of here.
This is an art gallery, sir.
Yeah. You will not be buying anything for Jed here. I think that's the kid's name. Yeah, it's good. All right. Well, this wraps up your movies, and we're gonna get on to TV shows next. So this is gonna be good. And real quick, hey, thanks for stopping by, buddy. JT's here, as well as Tom Rogat.
Howdy.
Thank you for being here. And Stargate SG-1.
Yep. This is probably my favorite franchise of all time, let alone individual series. But this one kind of started it all for me. I saw the original movie in 1994 when I was 12 in the theaters, and I was blown away. And I went to see it another 3 times, and then I just kind of like let it lie. I just really loved the movie, and this was in a time when it took like years for it to pop up on television after it was in the theater.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have been immediate and all that. So kind of moved on from that, and I found out that Showtime was running a series based on it, but I was not able to watch it when it aired initially because I did not have cable, and it was just kind of one of those things. So I started watching it on reruns on UPN back in like, I don't know, 2001, about 4 years after it began. And I got all caught up on the first like 4 to 5 seasons at that point. And then I just started like buying DVDs. And then I ended up with cable. So I started watching it air on Sci-Fi Channel every week.
So this started off on Showtime?
It did. First 2 years were on Showtime, and then they were canceled, quote unquote, and they were picked up by Sci-Fi Channel, and they ran it after that.
Oh, I had no idea it started off on Showtime. I mean, same thing. I think I'm based on what you said when you saw it. I think we've got about a 1 or 2 year difference between us. I remember watching this in the theater and loving it, but like always waiting for a sequel, and it never came about. I was always surprised. I remember seeing previews for the show, and I remember watching it. I guess not, but seeing it on syndication, or like you said, like Sci-Fi. And I think this is. I was trying to find a good picture of the cast. I can tell like this seems to be maybe slightly later in the show because.
Oh yeah, this is at least season 9.
Yeah.
Well, some of it is season 9 because Don Davis had left the show by season 9. If it was season 10, he'd already passed away, unfortunately.
And that's the guy in the army.
General Hammond,
Yeah.
The guy on the left there.
He's the guy who's Dave Chappelle's body fell on his car in Conner. That's what I always think of him in.
Well, he also did MacGyver with Richard Dean Anderson, who's also in this show.
Oh, did he? That, and he was Christy Alley's doctor in the Look Who's Talking films.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, no, I was going to say that the other reason it makes me go, this must be later in the series, is because I don't know his name, but the actor in the bottom right corner at between 4 and 5 o'clock there, uh, he's not bald and he doesn't have a thing on his forehead.
Oh, Chris Judge. Yeah. Yeah, he's doing pretty well for himself. He's the new voice of Kratos in the God of War games.
Oh, okay.
He's doing quite well for himself. A lot of these guys are. Amanda Tapping in the center is a director now.
Oh,
You
wow.
know, and all that. Richard Dean Anderson is retired. What was kind of interesting, the guy in the bottom center,
Hmm.
Corin Nemec, right? I've had him on my channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he came on to talk with us about Illuminati stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. Very cool. Um,
Yeah, nice guy, really nice guy.
who is it? There's another guy. I don't know if he's from this or if he's from Atlantis. I got to look this up real quick. Name is on the tip of my tongue. Here. I believe it's this. Yes. David Hewlett.
Ah, yeah. He starts on this show and becomes a main character on Atlantis.
Oh, on the Atlanta. Okay.
Yeah, but his
He's
first appearance was in like season 6 or 7 of this show.
he's friends with a guy I know, Matthew Kadish from Salty Nerd Podcast. He's been on Salty Nerd
Hmm.
back when they did movie reviews, and he's really fun when he comes on there. And I remember him, that I was looking for a picture with him in it, but I'm like, maybe he's on this. And I know so many other people that love this show. Who is it? Dreaming of Tabitha is like a massive Stargate fan,
Hmm.
if you know who that is.
The Full Aussie is doing a weekly recap podcast
Oh, okay.
of SG1 because they're all massive fans down in Oz too, apparently.
Oh, wow. Yeah, something that I know a lot of people love this. I mean, unfortunately, I never got into it. It's always made me wonder. Okay, I need to watch it and check it out. Like, I'll give you an example. I know, right? You did a Star Trek panel, and I like the movies, but I cannot get into the show. I've tried. I've tried. I've tried. It's just too slow for me.
It's that's fair. Like it was kind of the other way around for a lot of people with this particular franchise, but I get that. I do.
Yeah.
And also I wasn't watching TV in the 1960s. My mom was a kid. So you know,
Yeah.
like
I
I get that.
I do have the original series on streaming because I got it like for like $20, but
Mhm.
I only every now and then will throw something on. I just, like I said, like I want to get to it, and I have an appreciation for people who are fans for it, but I'm like, it's not for me. Um,
I'm like that about Doctor Who.
sure.
People talk all day long about Doctor Who, and my eyes glaze over. I'm just like, dude, I don't care. I mean, I'm glad you like it, but I really don't care.
Yeah, yeah, no, I totally get that. I mean, you're right. It's one of those things you just you can't like everything, sadly, but again, if other people like it and have fun, man, that's great.
Yep.
It keeps these things going. Jacob says, I believe the Stargate sequel script got rewritten to be Independence Day. That's a good point.
That's possible. I don't know because Stargate the movie came out in 1994, and I
Yeah.
think Independence Day was like,
96.
yeah, it was only a couple years later. So I would probably argue that Independence Day, like I don't know this for a fact, so you could be totally right, but Independence Day was probably already in the works given how big that movie was.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same team that did it, not only director but writer.
Hmm.
At the same time, it's one of those things they might have written Stargate, and then it just inspired them to do something. What became Independence Day 2.
Right.
I mean that happens.
Well,
Sometimes.
this was the everything that started with Stargate was wholly inspired by a Danish dude, Eric von Daniken, who was one of the first people to posit theories about like ancient aliens in a serious manner and get basically laughed out of academic circles for it.
Yeah.
Wrote a book called Chariots of the Gods, which is very, very famous.
I was just going to ask, was he the Chariots of the God guy? But,
He was. He actually just passed away last week.
Yeah.
And all that, but without him and his crazy ideas, Stargate wouldn't exist. It was wholly inspired by him.
Yeah.
What if the pyramids were landing pads for alien ships?
Now, have you ever listened to Art Bell back in the day?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, you never listened to Coast AM? Well, with Loving Conspiracy, you need to check out Art Bell. He's no longer with us, but he hosted a syndicated show. It was called Coast AM. That's what he got into, was conspiracy theories. That actually his show, he did like a news show. It became this conspiracy show kind of after the Oklahoma City bombing occurred, because there was a lot of conspiracies going on and people calling in. And JT did a panel where we reviewed an interview he did with a guy who claimed he shot him and his two buddies, accidentally shot two Bigfoots and buried them. It's wild. I mean, it's a little tough to believe everybody that comes on, but it's
I think I've probably heard of Art Bell, but I don't think I ever actually watched or listened.
You should check it out. Yeah, I think you'd get a kick. But there's always a lot of episodes where they talk about, like, people who have conspiracies that the government is building a real Stargate.
Yeah.
So just ask you if you've ever listened to Art Bell when that subject comes up.
Well, there is a door in Cheyenne Mountain that's labeled Stargate Command.
Where's Cheyenne
Mountain? It does
Mountain
exist. The Colorado. That's where NORAD is.
Okay.
Which is, by the way, where this show takes place. This is where it's all based out of, is under NORAD in Cheyenne Mountain. And there is a door there labeled Stargate Command. It does exist. The military were very involved in consulting and also doing big favors for the producers of this show. So there's a lot of give and take back there. And so one of the things that they did to kind of like laugh about it and sort of honor the show and all that was they put that nameplate, the Stargate Command, on a broom closet.
I was gonna say there's got to be times in like the military they're like, hey, let's call it this, because it's gonna make people assume and think and everything.
Well, and they were pretty tight. Like there were a couple of made-for-TV movies that came out after the series to tie up storylines, and in one of them, the U.S. Navy crashed a nuclear sub up through an Arctic ice shelf just for a shot for these guys.
Wow.
Like they were pretty tight.
I was gonna say that it sounds like it was probably pretty pro-military, because that's usually when the military is like, yeah, we'll do whatever you want, anything that makes it look good. So
very much so. There's an episode called Foothold where aliens get a foothold in Cheyenne Mountain, and it's a whole thing. And apparently the Air Force consultant called them up and was like, yeah, this episode's bullshit. And they're just like, what do you mean? We would never allow this to happen in the first place. And I was like, yeah, but that's the story, man. He's like, you need to do something else. They're just like, no, this is the story we're gonna go with. But they had a lot of favors and stuff, but they had to toe that line with the military.
Sure.
But no, it was. I don't know. It was a really great show with great characters developed over time. A lot of it was, for a brief moment, the longest running genre science fiction fantasy series in television history, until Smallville tied it the next year when it ended at 10 seasons. And they both were kind of like in that running, but Smallville got all the fucking credit for it. Even though they did it a year later and it was the same number of seasons, whatever. Then Supernatural went 15.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And beat him out.
Yeah, I had somebody on who talked about Supernatural, and I started to watch it, and then something happened, and then I went back to go watch it, and it was gone. But I think it's on Peacock, so
yeah.
But yeah, so you're right. Supernatural, man, that show ran forever.
Too long, one might say.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard a lot of people, they're like, watch it till about season 9, and then
I would end it at 8 myself.
Well, I think that they were like about season 9. They're like, and then you can call it. You're good. I was like, okay.
Yeah, because they jumped the shark a couple of times.
Yeah, the person was saying like a lot of like the episodes became like things that like insane fans were like begging them to do. Like they just that's
Mhm.
like we've run out of ideas, so like you know, oh look, there's like 50 people who are like this. Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah, it was a bit much. This one, by contrast, I think ended too soon. I mean, it could have ended earlier too, around the season 7 8 mark. It could have, and it was supposed to initially. It was also supposed to end at season 2 when Showtime canceled it. It
Yeah.
was supposed to end around season 6 when you know, certain events happened that I'm not going to spoil for anybody. But it's I managed to hang on until that last one. They were supposed to have an 11th season. They were canceled at the last minute. And I don't know. I just, but everything from like the end of season 8 to season 10, all of that is sort of it's almost like watching a different show. It isn't. It's still Stargate. It's still SG-1, but there are some cast change ups and some story directions that they take that vastly different from what had come before. Richard Dean Anderson had retired, Don Davis had retired and then passed away. They brought on Ben Browder and Claudia Black, who are mostly known together for a show called Farscape. So
Okay.
there are actually Farscape jokes in Stargate because of this. Uh, and it's the dynamic changed a little bit. But it was still a pretty good show, and it had gotten to a point where I was getting really invested again, and then boom, canceled. So
I was gonna say though, wouldn't you rather have a show be something where like it was, you know, you miss it that good as opposed to something that overstayed its welcome?
in hindsight, absolutely.
Yeah.
At the time, I wasn't done.
Yeah. No, I hear you. There's a few shows I can think of too where it's like God, you know, at least like give them more season to wrap it up as opposed to like leave it on a cliffhanger. So I totally get you on that.
Highly recommend though to anybody out there who likes science fiction,
Yeah,
who likes military stuff.
I'll have to, if I stumble upon it and I got nothing going on, I'll have to check it out.
I like most things. The first season's kind of rough. It gets better in season 2, and
Sure,
then it really picks up in season 3.
that's fair enough. Fair enough. I'll keep that in mind. Well, cool. I love it. True Detective.
Yeah, True Detective. I watched this on Gary Buechler's recommendation actually, and I hadn't heard too much about it because I don't have HBO. I don't keep HBO or any of that stuff. So and it's an anthology series, so each season is a different set of characters and a different story. So you don't actually have to watch all of them. So which is part of the reason why I said True Detective, but only season 1, is because that's the only one I've watched all the way through. It is a complete and whole story. You don't need to watch the rest of them. You can, I guess. I hear they're not good. I haven't seen them. So,
Yeah,
but this first season is possibly one of the most incredible seasons of television I have ever seen, bar
yeah.
none.
I've heard this
It
is
is very good.
yeah. Well, and I've heard that about the other seasons where not necessarily that they're terrible, but just like this first season is a tough act to follow with just how good it was. It um, not only that, and then I think the fact that people were who didn't realize it was an anthology were I think disappointed in the fact that right these
Yeah.
characters weren't continuing on for another storyline. Similar to what they do with Fargo, I want to say on FX. It's an anthology series.
Kind of. I equated it to my sister actually just the other day to American Horror Story before they started like tying all the seasons together in later seasons.
Yeah,
Initially, each one was a standalone
yeah.
kind of thing. Also, this is better than American Horror Story in my opinion. Leaps and bounds better, and it's interesting because I don't usually go in for like crime dramas or you know, procedurals or that kind of thing. I like whodunits, but I like a bit of whimsy to them. So I'll watch like old Basil Rathbone, Sherlock Holmes stuff before I'll watch like say Criminal Minds, for example.
Gotcha. What is this season about? I mean, when you say it's, you know, you're saying it's just phenomenal. So what's the storyline here?
So essentially, it's about two detectives who get paired together to solve a ritual murder in the South, and their characters are the reason. Like the two men that you see depicted here is Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. Some of the finest performances of either men's life, but particularly Matthew McConaughey. He steals that show. He just steals it. He owns it. And Woody Harrelson was damn good in it too. But they're two men who have very different lives, very different outlooks on things. Sort of an odd couple thing, but without the sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not at odds, but they kind of are at odds, and they've got to work together to solve this thing. Whereas their personal lives are a mess. Matthew's character Russ doesn't have a personal life, right? He's all about the work. He's all about that because he's absolutely just got this outlook of bleakness and despair, and nothing in the universe matters. So why are we even trying, kind of thing. And the other one is a family man who's cheating on his wife. And the story is told in a really interesting way. They basically, both of these guys are pulled in for questioning about an old case file, and they're kept separate, and they're telling their story. And it flips back and forth between each one's testimony, and then it goes back to flashbacks, essentially, where you watch the whole thing unfold over a series of years. Right, so this case is not like a one-off thing. It's like a thing that continues on for several years. It affects their lives immensely. It affects them personally. It affects their relationship with each other, and with the world at large. And when they're being interviewed in the present, this is them after all the shit went down.
Oh,
But you
okay.
don't get the story of all this shit until you progress further through in. So you're just like, how did these guys end up where they are? It's just beautifully put together and extremely well written.
Uh, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's very, very, very dark though. Do not watch it with kids.
Well, it's
Do
you
not.
know, the fact it's HBO, that's kind of a
Right.
it's
It
not
goes to some places that, I mean, not just visually, but some of the concepts in it are existentially dark.
now. This makes me go: is this kind of like Seven a little bit then? Because like
Um,
Seven is a super dark one.
kind of, kind of. It's not as like there's violence in it, and when it happens, it's sudden and it's brutal, but it's not like Seven kind of focused on the horrifying aspects of the murder itself,
Yeah,
whereas this is more about while the murder is present, the murder is like the backdrop for what's actually going on.
gotcha. Because I was gonna say like I've only watched like Seven like 2 or 3 times, and like at this point I'm like I I can't watch that movie again.
No, I get it. There's
Yeah,
there's points in that movie I'm just like, why the hell am I putting myself through this again?
yeah. There's a couple of movies out there that I'm like they're great movies, but I'm like I can't watch them again.
I got a list. I
Yeah,
got a list myself of things that I will never watch again.
Seven, The Mist, Hotel Rwanda.
Hmm. Yeah, that last one I absolutely get. The other two I watched kind of consistently, but I understand why you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like I got 8 millimeter is one of mine that I'll never ever ever watch again.
Another one I wanted to watch, and then I heard about ends at the end, and I'm like, even for like the circumstances, I'm like, nope. It's it's the guy who did Yellowstone, but it's
Taylor Sheridan.
Taylor Sheridan, but it's that movie. There's two of them, but it's the first one, Benicio del Toro. It's a drug movie.
Uh, Sicario.
Sicario. I almost said Cicero, but Sicario. And I'm like, no, no, I can't watch that. Um, just
Yeah.
yeah, dark stuff like that. I can't do it, especially parent. You know,
Yeah.
that's the thing
No, I
for
get that.
me. Yeah, yeah. But
It's not the darkness that I mind so much as the. I mean, there are certain things that do bother me a lot more than others. There's like I watch a lot of horror, but I specifically watch horror that has an element of the fantastic to it. That's my preference. I don't watch things like Saw, for example, because Although I would qualify that as torture porn and not horror, but whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't watch things that I know for a fact can and probably are happening somewhere in the world because I don't see why that's entertaining. I will watch things like Hellraiser, which has a lot of the same
Yeah.
stuff in it, but it's about demons that come out of a magical box. So I can justify it in my head a little easier.
No,
If
I
that
know
makes
what you,
sense.
I know what you mean. I watched the first Saw because I had a buddy who was like, "You got to watch this. It's like insane." And
Yeah.
the first one was not nearly. I mean, especially compared to their films for what they do, it was not. It's the least shocking. I almost feel like, but yeah, the other ones. Then it became, like you said, torture porn. Like even like Final Destination. It's like I don't want to watch a movie where people are maimed. It's like faces of death.
Yeah, I get that. So
Uh,
I do watch stuff that has an element of fantastic, and that's one of the reasons that this show surprised me so much because a lot of this is exactly the kind of thing I don't enjoy,
mhm.
and I did. I loved it. I
Yeah.
loved the whole thing. It was really surprising to me. And yeah, it's still one of the single best seasons of television I've ever seen. I think it was just so well crafted.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I've heard people talk about it, but now that you've said it, now I'm like, all right, now I have we have Max. I'm like, I'm gonna have to try and check this out now, especially for the fact it's just one season. So it's like, well, I can I can certainly dedicate that. It's not multiple seasons, but yeah,
Yeah, I think it's 8 episodes,
okay.
something like that.
I mean, I like when stuff is that short because you've got to put everything into it.
I do and I don't. Like I kind of miss the days like SG1. They were still doing like 22
Yeah.
to 24 episodes a season, and I kind of miss filler episodes a little bit because you could do all kinds of stuff with that.
Well, you can have fun with it, but sometimes like it's more of it seems like you have to do it if that makes sense, right? With like
Yeah,
TV
no,
shows, like that's kind of the downside to it, where I feel like right when you only have a more amount of shows, right? You gotta give it your all in each. So it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't always happen with shows like this, but right. Example, it's like why, even though you're not a fan of it, but why I think so many people like Doctor Who is those seasons are so short.
yeah, yeah. I guess. I had a girlfriend who liked it. My father liked it. I just never got into it.
Sure. No,
Uh,
I'm just saying that's those short scenes, even to like the original Office, same thing, right? It's
mm.
like that show was only on for like 3 seasons. There's only like 24
It was
episodes on
two.
there.
It was two
Or is
actually.
it seasons? Yeah, I was gonna say I knew it
Yeah,
was short, but right there's like then yeah, there's like 16 episodes to that show.
yeah.
It's such a huge impact. So, uh, Jacob, what was he saying? Oh, he said, check out Discovery's Manhunt Unabomber. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll check it out, man.
It's a
I'll
show
check
that's
it out.
on Discovery, huh? That sounds good. And then yeah, he says Schindler's List and The Pianist. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Schindler's List is another one. That's a very
I didn't watch The Pianist, but I did see Schindler's List once.
yeah. It is. It's one of those things. It's like great movie, but yeah, that's a tough thing to to watch. Just the
Yeah.
way that's portrayed. I mean, like on like the flip side, like I love Band of Brothers. I watch that nearly once a year. Um, I mean, that's all things that happen. True events there, but it's war. I mean, that's what happens in war.
Hmm.
And then for like me, I like sci-fi, so like I love Alien and I love The Thing, Predator.
Yeah.
Like I like that kind of like action horror, I guess too is what you'd almost call it. But science fiction is what as opposed to I'm not real big into slasher films. Other than I did like Scream. The first Scream I thought was a pretty good.
Well, yeah, Scream was one of those rare moments where it was really a satire and a parody of slasher
Yeah,
cinema but it was also a really decent slasher film in
Yeah.
its own right,
But,
made by one of the progenitors of the whole genre.
oh yeah, yeah. But it was also the fact that it was kind of a grounded movie at that point where
Mm.
you know it was
Yeah,
all
I
normal
mean,
people, right? It's not there was
mhm.
nothing supernatural in it or anything like that. As time went on, then it started to become that. But yeah, the first one, like you said, um, Wes Craven.
Yeah, oh, I mean, Halloween did the same thing. Like Michael Myers was like this horrible, unstoppable killing machine, but you never really understood why. And then
Yeah,
they started the Thorn arc, and that whole thing got nuts. And it was like, wait, he's part of an ancient Celtic curse now? I thought he was just
yeah,
a guy in a mask.
yeah. Yeah. Let's jump in the truck, right? Well, no, cool. Yeah. Again, this was an interesting one. I was real curious to hear what you had to say about it, so I appreciate you picking this one. And then we got the last one. The last one, you're definitely gonna have to give some setup because this is clearly something
Yeah.
unique.
Okay. So this is a Russian show that I discovered while scrolling through Netflix one day. The only place I've ever found it streaming in the U.S. is on Netflix. You can get DVDs, but they've got to be shipped from overseas, which is difficult these days given all the stuff going on with like, oh, they're Russian, we can't have them here.
Yeah.
There are 2 seasons. If they make a third, I don't know that we'll get it, which is unfortunate because it's really good. It's really, really good. Essentially, this is. It's not a wholly original concept. Basically, near future, everybody's got a robot in their household. Some of them are old robots beaten up if you're poor. Some of them are brand new, high tech, high end, just off the line. And all of them are programmed with Asimov's 3 laws of robotics, which are, obey people.
No harm
Yeah,
to a
or well,
person.
no, the first one is like, yeah, obey people. The second one is like,
You can't harm
oh,
a
now I can't
person
remember.
nor let
Yeah,
harm happen to a person.
yeah. And I think that might be the first one. The second one is obey humans unless it conflicts with the first law, and the third one is preserve your own existence unless it conflicts with the first 2
Yeah.
laws. Right. So basic programming is like do what we say, and don't harm us. And and this is about a robot built by a Chinese factory or a Chinese group of people, specific to a very rich dude's specifications in Russia, but she's a prototype without those laws programmed into her.
Okay.
Things ensue. She ends up in a place she's not supposed to be in. She's supposed to be a high end sex bot, right? And she ends up in a place where she's not supposed to be, and she
A kindergarten.
imprints on a girl
I'm kidding.
and this girl's family and becomes like part of their family. Just she's like, okay, I'm your robot now, and you're my
Okay.
family, and she doesn't have any restrictions on killing people who threaten her family.
Okay.
And everything else just kind of like spirals from there. There's anti-robot protesters out there. There's punk kids doing like crime over here. Like there's a lot going on, and I think the thing about it that really stands out to me is that like I said, it's not entirely an original concept, and it's not entirely unpredictable. Like you can reliably predict most of the story beats. That's not what makes it exceptional. What makes it exceptional is that the characters in it are extraordinarily well written and well acted. Particularly Arissa, the robot. She's fantastic in it.
I was the guy behind her. Is he the rich guy that had her made, or is he
He's
the
not.
family?
He's the father of the girl she imprints on.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I wish I could remember all of their names, and my Russian is nowhere
No.
near as good as my friend Anna's
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm not a native speaker.
Where's
But
Anna right now?
she knows the show though.
Okay.
And it was just the characters were just wonderful. The character arcs were really good. I just kind of fell in love with everybody in it, even the villains.
Okay.
And it's rare that a show will do that. And almost its entire cast is somebody you want to see what happens next with them. Even if you can guess what the story beat's going to be,
Hmm.
because the plot isn't super. It's done well enough that doesn't really matter. But it is kind of like, okay, I can see where this is going pretty much the whole
Yeah.
time. but it's how they arrive there, and it's how the characters are portrayed. They're just brilliantly portrayed by a stellar cast, who I obviously I didn't never heard of because I don't
Sure.
watch a lot of Russian television. But
But I mean, it's always enjoyable, right? When you watch something where it's like it's all fresh faces, and you're not really
Mhm.
looking at them as the actor. You're just looking at them, the role they're playing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was curious what this was going to be about. I didn't look it up at all because I was like, well, I want to just hear you talk about it. I mean, I had a feeling it was going to be something sci-fi, from what all the thumbnails I could find of it.
Hmm.
Um, I say I couldn't
Yep.
find what title, and so looked at the title, and then I did my best job to make one as similar to what I've seen for it. So, um,
Yeah, I try to use the Russian title as much as possible because I think it's funny when
yeah,
people are trying to figure that out, and also because I'm trying to be a little bit respectful of the show. But yeah, the English version of it is better than us. It's just straight up better than us. That's
yeah,
actually what the Russian means is Luchi Shim Ludi, I think is what that says.
yeah.
But it
It's
translates to better than
it's
us.
totally fine. When you gave that to me in the list, I was like, "What the hell is this crap?"
And that's the reaction.
Yeah,
That's
it's like, all right, it's his pick, whatever.
it's quite good though, and if I recall, I think it is still on Netflix. If you've got
Okay,
Netflix, if you've got some interest in it, I think it's worth watch.
well, here we can. I'm curious about that. Let's check out IMDb real quick and type it in, and usually that'll tell us. And you said how many seasons are out? But okay, it's been on since 2018. So
They had two seasons that I'm aware of. I think a third was planned, but there was budgeting issues that they came, also war happened.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, but I don't know if they're planning on making more of it. I kind of hope they do, but if they don't, I'm pretty satisfied with what I got.
Um, okay, yeah. It says just season one on Netflix, so
Mhm.
that's a bit unfortunate. If you do get into it, you can only watch the first season. But I don't know. I gotta imagine like you could probably find somebody at eBay who's like made who's ripped them and made a copy on DVD.
Yeah, I'm sure you could pretty easily, and it's also possibly one of those things where it was originally season one and two, but they got folded all into a season one because there was like 6 to 8 episodes of a season or whatever. So I don't know. He probably because when I watched on Netflix, it said season one and two, but they have changed that on things before, so I don't know.
It's true. Well, all right. Now I'm going back to see how many episodes that they have there. If it does look like it's all thrown into one, I don't watch that. 16 episodes. Oh, gotta click there. Uh, oh, see, they just list one episode. So yeah,
Yeah,
let's say
so
they just threw them all together then.
that's that's changed because now I'm looking it up and they're saying that oh well season two is planned. Well, 3 years ago when I watched this the first time, it said that season three was planned, not season two. So
Okay. Well, it's right. You're getting information from Russia, so who knows how it's being misinterpreted. But
yeah,
cool.
indeed.
I mean, looking at it, like it gives me what is it? The prequel to Battlestar Galactica. What was that? Andromeda,
Oh, Caprica,
Caprica.
which I
Yeah.
also enjoyed, but to a lesser extent than the series that preceded it.
I was saying, just looking at it, like that's what I kind of think. I kind of get a little bit of vibe of that, and
Kind
it's
of,
it's.
kind of.
I mean, it's a good topic, right? Because I mean, that's where
Right.
things are going, right? Especially with what she is, and just in general, like robots coming into the household. I mean, we're finally seeing that it's becoming like iRobot. It's the start of that, and I can't think of the name, but there was one recently, like in the past like 4 months, where there was like a pre-order where you could like buy it or you could lease it, and it's like faceless. There's like it's just
Hmm.
a blank face. It looks like a fencing mask, and it's I think it's only like 5 feet tall too. It's like really small, but they do like khaki one, a light blue one, and then they do like a dark slate gray. I'm like, holy crap! I'm like, I would not get the dark slate gray one. I'm like thinking of like I'm gonna wake up, it's gonna be standing over me, and I'm gonna shoot it.
Right.
But like that's like such a terrible choice.
I like this kind of science fiction, man. I really do, but it's not science fiction anymore, and no way is one of those machines making it into my house.
Yeah, yeah. I have watched Terminator enough to go like no,
Right.
no.
I don't understand why people out there who are intent on making this a household reality. If you guys never watched a single movie from the '80s, not one, because they all end badly. You got Terminator, you got Chopping Mall, you got like I just
Well, not only
it goes
that, but
on
right,
and
like
on.
even too right, like AI. I mean, like AI, there are
Hmm.
things that AI is great for, but there is so many flaws in it. You
Hmm.
know, still where it's one of those things where it's like um, I feel like the people right are trying to they want to make humanity easier, right? So it's less things that people have to do. But to me, I look at it as like you're going to kill jobs.
Well, not just jobs; they'll kill
Um,
purpose.
yeah, yeah, but I mean, like killing a job where it's like then people will have nothing to do, and
Hmm.
it's like, well, then what are these other people going to do if if AI is doing all the work?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that aspect. And you're right. I mean, it is. Yeah, you're right. It's killing purpose, and because right, all the things that AI can't do that a human can do. It's like at some point, it's gonna happen where we can't tell the
Hmm.
difference then, and then what?
Yeah, and I think there's going to come a day where we're going to find ourselves in the same position as that librarian from the Twilight Zone episode, The Obsolete Man, where he has to justify his existence because his position is no longer required.
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah. No bueno on AI. It's great for making memes and pictures, and I'm even open to like I am curious to see people make potentially a movie out of it. Um, but like beyond that, I'm not a fan of it.
Hmm.
I don't want it in anything in my house. Like you said. Um,
Yeah,
eh,
no, I'll kill it with fire.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Or I'll put it this way. Like I kind of think about it. I'm like, I would not want a robot in my house. Because like I said, I'd be terrified because I'd be like, who the hell is this? And I'd be terrified that I would like kill it. Um,
right.
Whether I shoot it, I stab it, or I hit it with a baseball bat, I'd be terrified of that. But you know where I feel like it would be great? I'm like, I would love for it. Take care of yard work.
I mean, I kind of get that, I do, but I'm also looking at this like, why make it look like a person, right? If it's supposed to be
Yeah,
an appliance, why does it have eyes? Why are they looking at me?
yeah,
And if it's not an appliance, that's an even bigger problem.
yeah. Well, like that one I was mentioning, it's got eyes and it's got two cameras in it, and
Hmm.
if that's if it gets stuck, then somebody can remotely pile it in, and then see what's going on or help program it for things. But then I'm like, why is it somebody can dial it in? Why is this not something that like I can do from like my own tablet with a
Yeah.
like
And how do you know they're not doing that when
yeah,
you didn't ask them to?
yeah, because think of all the stuff too is like right like all like the Alexa crap where they're like
Hmm.
no Alexa's not listening, and then it's like not only is Alexa listening, right, because it's like that's how it like pushes things on you, but then it's like, oh yeah, employees at Amazon were like listening into people,
Hmm.
or even like
Yeah, and not only that, but Alexa is listening even when you turn it off.
yep. Yep, yep. Well, not only that, but like, even like if you've ever seen the videos of like the Wi-Fi baby monitors that people hack into it and like
Mm.
watch people and scream at babies.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard some of that stuff. I mean, baby monitors were a problem enough back in the day when they'd pick up like random radio frequencies.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah. Well, that was just when they were audio, but when they got into the cameras, like
Yeah.
we have one where it's not Wi-Fi, but it does have a radio signal. where it transmits the picture in the audio, but going on Wi-Fi, I'm like, no. Especially after I saw those videos, I was like, no way.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But long story short, as horrifying as the actual reality of AI and robotics is, show was good.
Well, good. We'll check it out. Well, hey, thank you for coming on and sharing all your picks. I actually when people have something new on I haven't seen or haven't heard of, because it's something interesting and potentially something different from all the stuff that I keep watching, or at least right our choices of good entertainment these days are so limited. So it's nice to hear somebody go like, I've never watched this. It's something new for me
Yeah,
to go check out.
100%.
So I really appreciate it. And I do have all the links for you in the description of the stream. So to find you on X and your YouTube channel and your Rebel channel, you can go check out Samiel there. And then again, when are you streaming next for the folks that are watching or listening?
Officially Friday night for Abyssal Musings, and then Saturday afternoon for Screaming into the Void. But unofficially, there'll probably be a couple of game streams. I've been streaming Star Trek Online, so maybe later tonight. Well, kind of depends on how I'm feeling. If I need another nap because I'm an old man, maybe not. But
Yeah. Have you played Arc Raiders at all?
I have not. No.
Okay, I don't know if you're into shooters. It's a little like I will describe it as like Fortnite, but it's really instead of a PvP, it's a PvE game that has PvP in it. But running around doing little tasks, collecting stuff, it's a lot of fun. It's a cool game if you like the shooter, and you can get friends to join you to battle stuff. But essentially, robots called arcs have taken over the planet, and you have to live underground, but you come out to raid and collect supplies. That's why it's called Arc Raiders. So,
No, fair enough. No, I'm not really much into. I haven't really played much in the way of shooters since like Perfect Dark and GoldenEye.
gotcha.
It's I'm more of a so I spend a lot of time offline just playing like Baldur's Gate 3 recently, just
Yeah,
because it's a very enjoyable single player experience.
I do, and believe me, I like that stuff where it's like it's just me. I'm not worrying about anybody else.
Hmm.
I totally get playing that stuff, but for some of the newer stuff, yeah, I do say Arc Raiders is good. But again, if you're not into the shooter stuff, I get it. But very cool. Yeah, check them out. Streaming. You said Star Trek Online. I was gonna say I'm familiar with it. I think I've heard of it, but
Yeah, it's an MMO, but it's basically I'm kind of using it for filler for this month because I didn't really have anything planned until the end of the month when
sure.
Code Vein 2 comes out, because I've been doing kind of a lot of like Souls likes on my channel.
Okay.
And so I'm waiting for Code Vein 2, but that's not till like the end of next week. So meantime, between December when I finished Sekiro and now, I've been playing Star Trek Online, which seems to be doing pretty well. People seem to enjoy it. So
Well, there you go. Very cool. And then I will be back this Sunday. I am not saying who, but I have a special guest coming on. Samuel knows this person. I'll tell him after the stream, so he'll know the secret. But it's going to be between 1 and 2 o'clock Central Time, so it's going to be kind of midday on Sunday. So it's more of just for the person where they're located, just to make it so we're not doing it at a crazy time for them or for me. So it's as normal as we can make it. But looking forward to that one. So yeah, Sunday that'll be up. Mystery guest. So if you're curious, come check it out. I will have that posted as soon as I can for the channel. But with that, I think we are going to say goodbye and good night. Samuel, thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure.
thanks
Had a
for having me,
blast.
brother.
And I'll see you guys on Sunday. Have a good one.
Bye.
Oh, hang on. I wasn't prepared. I had to hit the button. Here we go.